All right, let's do it.
Sweet. All right. Welcome back. Hello.
What's going on?
It's the new year.
It is a new year. It's crazy. 2026.
Happy 2026. Well, it wouldn't be it's only apropos that we do New Year's and behavior change for this podcast episode.
100%. Yeah, when you texted me the list and I was like behavioral change. And I was like this is so broad that I felt like there was so many different ways that we can go about this, but I feel like we're going to nail it.
I think so.
Yeah.
I totally think so. Yeah. Oh yeah, when I text you that list, that was sort of a here's an idea scratch list. And so you got sort of a brain dump all at once.
Yeah.
Without context
Yeah.
too. So yeah, apologies. But
No, that's okay. When I got it, I was like, well, she's either on a treadmill, just walking and just literally just brain dumping right now, or she's in flow state and just absolutely like going hard in the paint in her notes right now, just figuring out like what she needs to do or getting all these ideas out on her mind.
it was
Yeah,
definitely the latter. I think it was 8 p.m. I was sitting on my couch and I was just going in on it. And I went, okay, 12 topics. What are the 12?
right,
So just went, yeah,
right.
to all in.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
good,
Awesome.
yeah, good assumptions there.
Yeah,
Sweet. Okay. So we were talking about behavior change.
right.
Why do you think behavior change is so hard for people?
Why is it so hard? I guess my very first thing of what the comfort zone of the comfort zone that we just naturally develop. And I guess I think about age too, right? Of the age of a comfort zone that we don't even have to think about things. We talk about like the conscious and the subconscious and I think how we also associate pain with change too, right? There's two things that are involved with change, right? Something that we gain and something that we lose, right? And
Mm.
typically involved with that is grief too. Like we don't really necessarily want to say goodbye to the things that created our comfort zone, right? And yeah, I just think it's human nature that we don't really necessarily want to lose that. And change isn't always guaranteed too, right? So along with that, yeah,
That is true because I think there are some things where you can feel like you're putting a lot of things out into effort and into the world, and then it feels like, but where are the results? Yeah, it feels like very slow progress for certain things.
right.
Some things not so much, but I think for maybe some things like a podcast, there are definitely only some things that you can control here.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. Big time.
for sure. Yeah, I was thinking about the podcasts that we did on regret and shame and how much that they do tie into, I think, identity and behavior change. That think about regret playing a role. And this is where just because I was editing and re-listening to the one that we did on regret and how it's like, we can regret so many things in our past and how our past does come with us into the future. So then it's okay, well, if I regret that thing 5 weeks ago, 5 years ago, whatever time frame it might be,
Yeah.
it might be a sort of indicator for these are the things that I want to change. But if I still see myself in a certain light, then it is more difficult. And that leads into then the shame of how do I then let go of this identity that I've really hammered myself into for so long that
Yeah.
is maybe holding me back from creating the changes that I want to see. I think an example that I was thinking of is like if I see myself as disorganized and then I tell myself I'm really going to get organized this year, it's going to be
Yeah.
really challenging to feel like I'm swinging the pendulum from I see myself in this way and I've always been this way and what's to say that I haven't,
Yeah.
haven't made the changes that I want to see and then to start to make some of the actions that you want to towards feeling more organized.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess especially within that, it's a loss of identity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, just as someone within the friend group of always being perceived as like the one that's being late, right? Or the messy one, disorganized one, and then all of a sudden, yeah, swinging, like you said, swinging the pendulum. It creates a shift in the group, a shift within yourself, and just generally a shift in the identity too.
For sure. I am the one that's always late. So this is You're speaking right to me. True. Thank you.
Sure, sure.
Lovely. Glad this is therapy on a podcast. Yeah, no, it can be challenging. So, okay. So when people are thinking about changes that they want to make, where maybe should we begin on this? Because we have a few topics
Yeah,
that go into, of course, how we see ourselves, whether it's willpower versus discipline
yeah.
versus compassion, being kind to ourselves. And then we'll throw in some research from Katie Milkman and her team. And then also self-determination theory from, a Psych 101 class I think I took back in 2010. Yeah.
Which was 16 years ago.
I don't want to think about it.
Sorry to clarify
Thank
that.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd love to hear because you sent me this earlier this week, and I actually had never read too much about it, but you probably know it better than me as far as the what is it called? The
Katie Milkman.
kill it, Katie Milkman. Yeah.
Yes. The fresh start effect. So there was a team of researchers, and I believe Katie wrote the book, The Fresh Start Effect. And I think she might go by Catherine. So Katie, Catherine. So team at Wharton, of course, they started to do kind of an idea around, okay, what is it that causes change for people? And so of course the new year is the
Yeah.
time where people are most likely to make more changes. But there's all these contexts that people make changes. So they have like
Yeah.
what's called temporal landmarks.
Yeah.
And while the new year might be a landmark, there's throughout history been these landmarks. So I think about
Yeah.
this in some cultural ways and also like religious ways, right? So if you can think of a bar or a bat mitzvah,
Yep.
those are landmarks. Confirmation for Catholics.
I was thinking confirmation or confession,
Yes.
especially when we were talking about the other podcast of regret.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Those two are definitely temporal landmarks. It's a sign of a new beginning. It's a sign that there is an evolution and change in time, or the way that the culture sees you, or the way
Yep.
the community sees you. So they've been built in different time frames.
Yeah.
So I think the new year, and again, when you're studying at in a college or university setting, you're going to be studying things like diet. You're going to be studying things like what are college students actually going to be, when they're your research participants, you're going to be studying
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot of people, they did this one research study where they used Google to discern
Uh-huh.
what was the most Googled, I think, thing for the new year.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it was around diet.
Yep.
And then it was how long did people stick with the diet for? How long did this, were people Googling about this, And so I think on average, about 23 days is the amount of time that people stick with their New Year's resolution. So usually by January 23rd,
Wow.
people are done. And I think it's because people, again, it's that pendulum swing. These people are swinging for the fences and making it so hard and challenging that it's like, I'm not just gonna do a diet. I'm gonna do a keto diet, or
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna work out. I'm gonna run every day. Or
Yeah.
so I think when we start to do something and we feel like we have to go all in, and if
Yeah.
we're not all in, then we're all out. Then that's where we start to lose it. So
Definitely.
yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the fresh start starts to lose it, is because it's no longer feels like a fresh start. You don't have that type of motivation in the beginning of this time landmark.
Yeah.
And then when you're not, again, getting the results that you want, or
Yeah.
you're going and hammering in, it doesn't feel easy, it doesn't feel good, then you're going to lose interest.
Yeah. It's so interesting with the 23 days.
Yeah.
I think that number is fascinating because 23 days, I mean, you hear it all the time. How long does it take to create a habit? 21 or 23 days, right? But then as far as that being the average of where it typically drops off at, right?
Yeah.
And then this also being kind of socially constructed of that, yes, it's the new year, but I guess it's called a temporal landmark.
Yes.
With temporal landmarks, I guess it's something that also needs to be repeated, right? In order for it to, I guess, cultivate like true success and true change.
Yes.
That we can't just have this, okay, it's the new year, boom. What's your New Year's resolution? That there has to kind of be like this bi-weekly or monthly thing in order for it to create maybe more permanent, longer lasting change.
Sure.
Yeah. Huh.
Sure.
Interesting.
It is. It is. Because I think the other part of the research was that people are more likely to make a change on a Monday, or the first
Oh, yeah.
day of the month. So there's all these kinds of things that are built into a calendar where we can elicit a fresh start effect at any time.
Yeah.
And I think the 23 days thing, or, when people say like, how long does it take to make a habit? I think every day, because if it's a habit, you're doing it pretty much every day. And
Yeah.
as, as hard as it is to start one, it's really hard to break one. When I think about a habit I want to break, it's typically something I'm doing every day or way more frequently. So when I want to break something, that means I'm going to start doing something differently on a daily basis.
Yes.
So that's my 2 cents on that.
I'm also curious with these temporal landmarks. Like I said, I never heard of them before.
Yeah.
Um, but within her book, is it something that's a little bit more cultural?
I did not read the book, so I will
Oh, okay,
say
okay.
why I didn't read the book. I listened to a podcast that she was on way long ago,
Yeah,
and then but the idea has stuck in the back of my head, and so when I re-pulled up her research, I was like,
yeah,
oh yeah, it is interesting because of all the different things that she studied that were in it.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, but I'm imagining that there are things because I even think about just let's say being here in the US, right? Anytime that there's sort of let's say a holiday or like that there are certain time points that I think that we can maybe get excited about a new beginning.
yeah.
What are you thinking about?
I hate that I can't hide my poker face, but I'm thinking about like I literally said to my family, I'm never eating a Christmas cookie ever again. Like after December 25th. You know
Okay.
what I mean? And I
Yeah.
guess I'm thinking about that a part of your scenario of like, okay, once we pass like a holiday or once we get into the new year or anything like
Hmm.
that. And I guess it can come, depending on culture, it can come to anybody at any time too, right? As far as like November 1st, right after Halloween, I don't know, not eating a piece of candy anymore or anything like that.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And Halloween being on the 31st and then
Yeah.
November 1st coming around the corner where
Right.
it's like, all right, after this, I'm done. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that there are a few like just kind of like time blocks that,
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of get built. Again, they get built into a calendar and then there are things that you can create. So
Yeah.
that can be like, yeah, it's your birthday.
Yeah.
Or, and again, that might be a calendar mark, but that might also be something that's meaningful to you that you want to do.
Yeah.
An anniversary, the 1 year at work, whatever it might be that kind of signifies times for change.
And you had said something really important too, as far as like the meaning of it, that especially with the diet of like the meaning that it carries to a person. And I think the college age is so interesting too, a part of her study. The meaning that it has to college kids in certain diets, and I guess the value that it carries is really interesting too, as far as like why she chose that for her study.
Yeah, and I think the diet part was because it was the most Googled.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So I think that that's where that part came into play. So I guess in terms of the research, that's sort of broadening it to
yeah.
what's the most Googled thing, right? So that could be anybody or anyone that's got the
I
internet.
see it. Okay,
So
okay,
then there were certain things that were studied within the university setting, and I'm kind of forgetting exactly what she studied within
okay.
her like cohort of research. The meaning behind it can be again, if I think if it's shame based and it's
Yeah,
I hate the way I feel, I hate the way I look, I hate the way I'm doing these things. If it's shame based and it's I hate this and I want to change it,
yeah,
I mean it can be somewhat motivating, but I don't think that you're running on clean fuel. You're kind of running on fuel that's kind of dirty and it's really hard to be in that kind of fuel to keep you going. And then I think the compassionate piece into that actually creates more sustainability when it comes to change.
yeah. And then how do you create compassion towards this new identity too, and kind of have this whole switch flipped, right?
Yeah.
Um, why can't I think of that surgery that people have? Uh,
Bariatric surgery?
Bariatric surgery.
Yeah.
I've had patients who actually really struggle with that as well. Of they lose this significant amount of weight and then almost struggling with like this imposter syndrome type deal related to their identity of they'll say like, Drew, I feel like I have the compassion, but I don't really necessarily feel like if I necessarily deserve it, or I don't know if there was the work associated to get here too. That's always been very interesting to see too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. There's because there have been studies done around people who, when they lose a lot of weight, like whether it's bariatric surgery or even I think now with Ozempic
Yeah.
crazes, or
Yep.
GLP-1s or whatever,
Right.
um, that I'm so used to seeing myself as a certain person.
Yeah.
And now that there's been this shift, it's almost like that
Yeah.
sort of
Uh-huh.
imposter syndrome creeps in.
Yeah.
And I think when I think about imposter syndrome, I think a lot of it is doubt. Like I think that doubt and imposter syndrome, they're hand in hand.
Yeah.
So then it's like, can I be this person?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to that.
Does my brain match my physical presence? Right.
do
Yeah.
do my beliefs about myself match my actions?
Yeah.
And yeah, and when I've had this ingrained belief about myself for so long, really hard to feel like I can create enough distance from that to say that I can create the changes and be someone different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. This would be a really good segue into talking about willpower versus discipline.
go for it.
Okay. So, especially as we're talking about behavioral change, I think there's two important distinctions that we should talk about, willpower and discipline. I think, especially with willpower, number one person I think of, and there's no hate on this guy, no judgment, but David Goggins. Are you familiar with him? I'm
Of
sure.
course.
I'm sure mostly everybody listening is also pretty familiar with David Goggins.
Yep.
Get shit done, running at 50K, 100K, just like you power through the pain, right?
Hmm.
That's his mantra, power through the pain. And um, but I think with willpower, that's something that comes in short bursts of you, let's say you get a are you on Snapchat?
No.
I don't know why I keep using this example. I guess
Are you
when
on Snapchat?
yeah, I have a Snapchat, but I
Huh.
don't I don't keep streaks. But
Yeah,
like
that's still a thing.
yeah, that's still
Oh my gosh.
I think it's still a thing. I mean, I mostly like high school students and college students, so I have to speak their language.
That's true. Yeah, you got to be in the know.
Right. So
You
if
on
you
TikTok?
no, I don't have a TikTok. No,
Anyway.
that's where I draw the lines. But if so I guess just to educate our audience, if you send a picture back and forth a number of times, it creates a streak. So like let's say you and I send a picture back and forth for 5 straight days. So we'll have a five and then a flame emoji next to it, signifying that we've done that and we have a streak. But there's a significant amount of people that want to continue to maintain that streak for hundreds of days at a time. If I see that and let's say it's 1 a.m. and I'm falling asleep and I get a Snapchat and I'm like, well, like I don't I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling groggy, but I'm just going to combust my that's not the right word. Uh, create some willpower, some short-term a burst of willpower to go ahead, take a picture of my ceiling, and then send it back, and then that streak is continued. Or you're shopping in a supermarket and you see some chocolate colored pretzels, but you've sworn off sugar for ever since December 26th, and you're shopping around and you're like, well, I can't have sugar and I can't have cookies or sweet treats night now, so I'm not going to eat those. But that's a short burst type of thing of being like, okay, I'm not going to buy those pretzels right now, right? I think that's a little bit different than discipline because discipline, and we'll get into this later, I guess. Discipline can come from intrinsic and extrinsic motivators too, of something that
Sure.
feels good, but also we're avoiding a punishment and maybe we're even potentially getting a reward out of it too.
Sure.
And
Okay.
also maybe manipulating our mind and manipulating our environment.
We're just gaslighting ourselves then.
Yeah, I think with Andrew Huberman and Tim Ferriss, yeah, we're just constantly gaslighting ourselves.
Constantly doing that. Okay,
Yeah,
great. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so with willpower, you're saying that it's like that is the short term.
yeah,
That
short
short.
term, short bursts.
Okay, and then
Correct.
discipline is a longer game.
Yes, very
Okay.
much so. Yeah.
Do you think that if someone is being disciplined about something, does that mean that it's hard for them to be disciplined about it?
No.
Okay.
Uh, no, because what if they enjoy it?
Right.
So, chocolate covered pretzels. What if I'm with my friends and they're like, Drew, just buy the pretzels. Like it's not that big of a deal. We'll eat some, you can have some. They're giving me permission to eat some, right? But as far as like if I want to achieve a goal or if I know the consequence of being like, I don't like the way that the sugary pretzels make me feel, right? And I'm doing something in accordance with my values, like I'm intrinsically motivated, right? Then why would and I'm feeling aligned, then why would I want to sacrifice my values and go ahead and satisfy an extrinsic uh motivator right now too. So I think some people say like, oh, that must be so hard, but it's kind of easy. If you're intrinsically motivated, it's kind of easy to say no.
Yeah, I think it depends. Here's why I'm going to say that.
Let's hear it.
Okay. So in thinking about the, I'm gonna borrow this from because we're talking about like chocolate pretzels and which are probably one of my favorite things. Next to a chocolate chip cookie or a brownie. But there's this idea in the intuitive eating world that
Okay.
when we create rules that are super strict and hard, that we actually then create a scarcity around what that is. So it's I'm never eating an Oreo again. Okay. But then there's a sleeve of Oreos. And then it's like, well, if I'll eat one. Okay. But if I'm never eating these again, then it almost is like there's that I think that impulse internal, which I don't know if this is biologically hardwired in some way, where it's like scarcity comes in, you need to eat all the Oreos, you don't know when you're going to get another one again, type of thing.
Yeah.
Because that you're telling yourself you're never going to do this thing again.
Yeah.
I think that when there's these hard and fast rules, there's an internal scarcity that will come in and sort of hijack it. And then we go into the sort of all or nothing. Um,
Mm.
so when and and here's where I think that this is like super nuanced because also working in addiction, it is all or nothing. You're either drinking or you're not.
Yeah.
And with that, and then with that can be helpful because it's very either or can be there's a metric, there is a very clear goal. It is not you can have one beer and be good. It is you have no beers because if you have one, you're gonna have 12. Like
Yeah.
that. So I think that with certain things, it kind of is that like it depends scenario.
Yeah.
But I think that sometimes in our minds, it's like, oh my gosh, but what if? Like there's that sort of creeping, but what if that my friends are telling me like just eat it and it's like, okay, fine, everybody else is. Like,
Yeah.
because like you're saying, it's hard to override our environment.
Yeah.
It is difficult. Um, but yeah, so I think that with certain aspects or with certain contexts,
Yeah.
I think that it's like there are different strategies for the different things that we want to achieve.
So going back to your original question you asked me, is discipline hard? Wait, that was what you asked,
Yeah.
right? Is discipline hard? Would your answer be it depends then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think um yeah, I think it's a it depends thing because if I enjoy something, I have no problem being disciplined with it.
Yeah, for sure.
I like if I enjoy it, I'm like sure. Like yeah,
Yeah.
movement pretty easy. I like movement.
Yeah.
Or I'm trying to think what else. Like what reading?
Yeah.
I've been trying to be a reader for years. A consistent reader.
Oh, I gave that up a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm like if I get through 3 books a year, I'm great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
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 So,
Dang. Interesting.
mhm.
Um, so I guess the basis is of it depends. Okay, so we use something that I actually really liked your example of like, and I'm thinking about AA right now
Mhm.
of like the all or nothing and like how and I guess it even goes back to what we were talking about earlier of like having that reset. You get a 3 month chip. You kind of have this reset. You have this celebration,
Yep.
right? And
Totally.
then, or you even get your 1 day chip. Okay. How do I become disciplined about this? Or do I just cultivate willpower every single time that I see temptation to having a beer too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Am I white knuckling it, as they say? Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. Now that an example is making me think. So I guess I'm trying to think about how discipline can be hard. And I guess my first automatic thought is there has to be some type of pain, first initial temporary pain involved with that. But that also means that shame doesn't need to come with the pain involved with it too.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because to your point, um, I think moving through discomfort, moving through pain can actually be stemming from a healthy sense of self.
Yeah.
Like, I'm able to do this. I trust in myself to be able to do this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just really trying to think of an example right now that would be a good example.
Well, you mentioned David Goggins earlier.
Yeah.
I'll take a different one. Actually, this one's a good local one. Okay, so there is someone here in Raleigh. His name's Eric Huel, and he did something called the Speed Project. And the Speed Project is a run from, oh my gosh, the it's through the Mojave Desert, I think. Is
Wow.
that in California? Am I geographically correct? Okay. So
I'm
basically
the wrong
from
person to
okay,
ask.
so and I'm probably gonna butcher this, but you can definitely Google it. So it's basically from you start in California, you end in Las Vegas. But
Okay.
you're and it's an unsanctioned course. So you're like so there's a team, you have to have a team involved. It's 300 miles.
Okay.
Have to have
Not
a team
bad.
involved. Yeah, not
Quick
bad.
Saturday.
Yeah, it's a quick, adventure through the woods, right?
Yeah.
Or the desert. So you can do it in as a relay. You can have multiple people do it, or
Yeah.
there are singles. And so, he was the one running the race. He had a whole team with him. I think he might have placed top six, definitely top six, if not maybe like top three. So
Wow. Okay.
he like I mean, but in thinking about something like that,
Yeah.
there is a lot of pain involved.
Yeah.
Like you are not getting through that pain free.
Yeah.
Um, you might actually experience some pleasure with the pain or having
Runner's
that
high.
yeah,
Yeah.
having that healthy sense of self is I trust myself to be able to do this and like conquer this pain I'm about to go through. And this
Yeah.
is a bit of an extreme example, I recognize, because it's not every day that someone's going to be doing this or having this type of thing. But I think that sometimes we can find bits of relatability in the extremes. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
someone's doing that, and that's an extreme example.
Yeah.
But then I'm reading this book and I actually want to get through it.
Yeah.
And damn it, if I just go 10 more minutes, cool, I have 10 more minutes to get through it. I don't need to pick up my phone and scroll through Instagram.
Yeah.
It can be that it's sort of, we can find the how does this apply to me in the
Yeah.
extremes. And so I think that that's one way of doing it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting. That example that you just talked about, the speed project, is going to be super good in our next topic too. That's what I was just thinking about the whole entire
Okay.
time.
Okay. What's our next topic?
Um, the intrinsic versus extrinsic.
Got it.
And then the getting into the why can't I think about it right now?
Self-determination.
Self-determination theory.
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah.
Great.
The self-determination theory too. But uh yeah, I guess with running, and especially running with the team of, and I guess it's also like different types of pain that would be involved of. And I wonder what the like people who I would love to know the person's relationship with pain who run the 300 miles versus run the 300 miles within a relay, right? Because a big part, I guess we can just go over the three aspects of self-determination, right?
Yes.
Uh, Number one,
Autonomy.
autonomy. Uh, Pretty much independence, feeling that you have some type of control over something, right? Number two, competence, feeling that you are effective in what you're doing, that you're good at it, that you have some type of confidence, that the outcome, you're getting some type of like progress in your outcome, right? Um, and number three, relatability.
Yes.
And especially, I was thinking about that when the relatability, when you were talking about the doing it within a team, and with the relatability of doing it with a team, like another in a group of four running a 300 versus just running the 300 independently would be so interesting about the person's relationship with pain. And I guess what is the anecdote relatability? I'll be like, oh my God, my section was so difficult. I had X number of hills. My split wasn't that great, and just having the ability to have camaraderie over that too. But you might not necessarily have as much. You don't get as much autonomy. You can't control the other runners and what their split is going to be. You don't know whether uh, time, pace. There's a lot of other uncontrollables involved with that too. I don't know. I just thought of that as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. And then I guess also kind of backtracking too, as far as like the intrinsic, I know we keep talking about intrinsic versus extrinsic.
Yes.
Do you want to take that?
Sure. So intrinsic being that you are motivated from internal factors, your values, what
Yeah.
matters to you, and extrinsic being that you're motivated by external factors. So that could be the pay raise you're going to get at work or the promotion or praise from friends or family members.
Yeah.
So, and I think that there is a sort of this Venn diagram overlap of the two.
Yeah.
Um, when I think about someone I mean, again, kind of pulling from addiction, people who wanted to didn't really want to get sober, but their family members basically said either you get sober or we don't talk to you again, or you get sober or we're getting divorced.
Yeah.
Then that was a motivator for them to get sober. But it's in a way, okay, yes, their spouse or family members might be pushing them,
Yeah.
but their relationships matter to them enough to do it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, so there are some times where there's an external push because it is speaking to something that's inside of
Yeah.
you that does matter to you.
Yeah.
So and vice versa, right? So then it's like, all right, there's this, internal drive to want to do things, to want to, I don't know, build a business, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, like that's an internal drive, but it does maybe take like, okay, like there is that sort of a metric of, all right, you start a podcast, you want to get more listeners, or
Yeah.
you want to see where this can go. Like
Right.
there are some metrics that then kind of speak to the like, yes, you're doing this
Yeah.
for because you enjoy it or for yourself or because it aligns, and there's some external markers that keep you going.
Right. And I'm also going to add sometimes when there's intrinsic value added into an intrinsic activity, like I think about NIL with college students of, let's say you're going and playing basketball and you get a full ride, but then on top of that, there's this extra pressure to get NIL money,
What's NIL?
the money that athletes get.
Oh, the college athletes get?
Yeah, that college athletes get.
Got it. Okay, got it.
Yeah, sorry, I should have
Thank
clarified.
you. No, it's okay. You're speaking to someone who knows this much about go
But
team.
go sports.
Go sports.
But with the as far as there that extra pressure and I guess the joy and kind of like the diminishing of values or the differing of values that it might have of being like what it's like to step up to a three throw line of does NIL money and kind of ride on the amount of points that I'm going to score or the anticipation of potentially getting that money too of like your sophomore year, junior season versus I get a full ride and I'm just grateful for that too, right?
Right.
Not none of that is necessarily bad, but extrinsic motivators I feel like can 100% impact the intrinsic motivators and values that we have as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm imagining too that that's going to impact like loyalty to teams and things like that too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And especially with that's actually a really good point too. Sports betting and sports gambling of, oh, let me just throw $5 onto a game to make this more fun and more entertaining to watch, right? And then eventually, what is a person's tolerance towards watching sports just to watch sports? Um, versus like, no, now I need to up the ante of because now the reason why I watch sports is because of extrinsic value versus I used to just have fun watching a hockey game.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you start to put outcomes to it,
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of takes away the enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
Leisure can just be leisure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I see what you mean.
Do you hate how much I use sports examples?
No, I mean, I'm picking up what you're putting down. So I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Next time I'm going to prepare and I'm going to try to what's one thing I'm not well versed in? Actors and actresses in theater.
Okay.
I want to try and do that next time.
Okay.
Next podcast, I'm going to make that a goal. It's not my New Year's goal, but it's a goal.
That's like,
Yeah.
see? Yeah. Yeah. It can be a fun, goals can be fun and
Yeah.
they can be low stakes.
Yeah. Low stakes.
Low
Yeah.
stakes goals. Yeah. So what's interesting about self-determination theory too is that it actually impacts the coaching world likes to borrow from psychology a lot.
Yep.
And in coaching world, then they took it and they basically said, well, what makes leadership great? Like what makes like work cultures, leadership, that kind of dynamic like work in workplaces.
Yeah.
And self-determination theory was, of course, used. So when
Yeah.
you have people who feel like that they are autonomous, they're not being micromanaged,
Yep.
they are trusted to do their job,
Yep.
and they have the skills to like build their competencies. If there's like trainings or they're seen for the value that they bring, and
Yeah.
they were offered opportunities to really hone in on that. And then the relatability is their team. So who like
Definitely.
yeah, like what decreases turnover at work is if someone has one friend. So if
Yeah.
someone has a friend at work, they're gonna be great. You know, I mean, maybe not great because you can be in a toxic work environment and you can, bond in that. But
Yeah.
but to say that you have someone else that's there with you and empathizes with you
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah.
So
But that's a good example of just like we've all had shitty teachers before, right?
yeah,
Of but when we have a shitty teacher, we're also more likely to bond with our peers of being like, oh my God, doesn't Mr. and Mrs. So and so suck?
sure,
And then there's a commonplace, right? And then from there, I don't know, something could blossom,
for
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There are definitely ways where it can be the there it's tricky because there's actually more research, especially with how polarized politics is right now, and how everything is political. Like you can that desk apparently is political, whatever it might be, right?
Yeah.
But like it's kind of how people are bonding over the hatred of another group or another person,
Yeah.
and how that can be actually detrimental. So I think that this is where actually it can be sort of the dark sides of self-determination theory.
Yeah.
So it's also kind of being careful around what is it that you're bonding over, what's the narrative, and how is that maybe being pushed. So when I think of this, I think of incel culture. I think of your super, be the super independent alpha guy. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I think that there are ways, and you can kind of see the whole environmental picture of it, right?
Yeah.
Be the alpha guy, be super independent, don't really need anyone, go to the gym, whatever that narrative is.
Yeah.
And then you have a bunch of people who are feeling and thinking the same way. And then there's like competencies built around it. There are philosophies that they're grabbing onto. So you can see where this works really well.
Yeah.
And you can see where it works so well
Yeah.
that maybe it actually is detrimental to one's well-being.
Yeah. I want to use the example again of uh, no hate to David Goggins, like I said,
Great.
but and I can't diagnose him, and
We're
this and
yeah.
yeah, obviously I'm not his therapist or psychologist or anything of that nature, but there is definitely some type of compulsion that he is satisfying.
Yes.
And it is unfortunate that a lot of his relationship, I mean, it's public knowledge that a lot of his relationships are very poor. And he's very upfront about that as well,
Yes.
that there's obviously cost to this as well. But that's a good example of like advertising. What was the word you used? The incel culture?
Yeah.
Yeah. Of have this willpower and you'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might not be a total incel culture, but I think of like the Andrew Tates of the world who are,
Oh,
kind of
I
pushing
just
kind
threw
of
up in
thing.
my mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's so gross.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I think that it's seeing where, again, if we're just kind of using this as
Yeah.
sort of a platform to kind of go with like, hey, here's where it works really well. Do you know who actually branded this super well and got this so like I mean, just even talking about it, CrossFit back in 2015 when CrossFit was you could turn this office space into a CrossFit gym and you would have 20 people coming, okay? Because
Yeah.
CrossFit was a place where people felt a sense of community, a bonding, like, and it was again, autonomy, connectedness, competency.
Yeah.
Like those three things, CrossFit honed that in so well.
Yeah.
And I mean, and people loved it. And I
Yeah.
think that also people found that sense of like community. We're all
Yeah.
here for a common goal. There was a common mission.
Yeah.
Our stats might be up on a board. How many days you've been coming?
Yeah.
We know who's coming at 6 a.m. So if you're not there, we're gonna notice. I mean,
Yeah.
just that alone, just
Yeah.
kind of really held people accountable.
Yeah. How do you cultivate healthy competition? That's another aspect of that I feel like CrossFit succeeded into.
For sure.
I don't know if you saw, this was way back in the day. Netflix's documentaries about CrossFit, like first guy that comes, Mia Holmes, and I hope I'm getting that right for her, and Matt Schaefer. I
Mm,
mean, those two are like pinnacles of of CrossFit, but then you get to know their personal lives as well, as far as like their families, their spouses, their homes. It's pretty incredible like what CrossFit has done to their lives.
wow.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I just remember watching those documentaries and yeah, and boom, they were just like this CrossFit boom across the world. Yeah.
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 But no, 100% you're absolutely right. Yeah, they nailed it.
Nailed it.
But and then nah, never mind, we're not going to get into that.
We
No.
can go down so many rabbit holes with this one. So
Yeah, I
many
could.
groups that you can kind of examine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um all right, so back to self-determination.
Mhm.
As far as us lay, do you do CrossFit?
No.
As far as us lay people that don't do CrossFit,
Yes.
how can self-determination, even outside of exercise, be incorporated into one's routine?
Yeah, I think about finding so I recently did a podcast with Ashley Emmons who talked about confidence.
Oh yeah, she's a beast.
She is. She's great. And so when I think about the confidence being like trust from within,
Yeah,
that I think is autonomy. Like when I think about those two things coming together, it's like,
yeah,
where do I find my sense of like self and like true trust? It's like
yeah,
because you can bring that into any new situation. It's like
yeah,
I trust myself to go into this maybe art class I've never taken before,
yeah,
and I'm learning a new skill, and I want to see who's here to maybe relate to. So
yeah,
I think that there are ways where we can start to like kind of we have a framework to go off of, and we go, if I'm just hitting on these three things, then I think it makes it almost like a little bit easier
yeah,
to do something, right? So if I think about a New Year's goal, let's say it's like doing anything new, especially in a group setting.
yeah.
For me, it's really easy to do something new when I'm one on one. It's easy for me to go into, let's say, a new situation where I don't have to interact with anybody. I can go to a new coffee shop and chill and hang out. Like,
Sorry, say it one more time. You said it is easy for you to do it one on one.
yeah, yeah. If it's just like kind of a one-on-one scenario and I'm not just the only one in a new group that I have no idea who's here or like have yeah.
Yeah.
Does that surprise you?
I would actually say I'm the opposite. I would rather it be in a group versus one on one.
So you would rather be in a group of completely new people. Like you're the new guy coming in.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um, I guess I'm the new guy coming in, and I also don't know if I'm the only new guy coming in because I
Sure.
feel like one on one, there's a little bit more pressure to carry conversation, and the attention's a little bit more on me too.
For sure.
Versus if I'm going into a group, then there's not as much pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
but keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. I say, okay, so it'd be one on one or even just like solo activity. Like
Yeah.
me going to do an art class, which I've tried to get into these art classes. They're like local to here and it's a waiting list. You can't get in. So anyway, that's a side note, but I've tried. So this is active effort. Can't get in.
Wow.
They fill up super fast.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, the other thing I was going to mention, you pickleball, right?
no. My friend Jacqueline does. So
Oh,
Jacqueline
okay.
did her. She's like, I will teach you. And I'm like, great. I have no hand-eye coordination. So this should be fun. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's something new for the new year.
So you're going to try that out.
Yeah, I'll try it out.
Okay.
I'll try anything,
Yeah.
even if I'm super bad at it.
Yeah. That actually, because kind of similar to CrossFit, pickleball got it right.
Yeah, they did.
As far as like relatability, the autonomy, right? The effectiveness of having a measure of like being able to improve. You want to play singles, you want to do doubles, you want to rent a court for hundred. I don't even want to talk about the price of it. It's going to make me cry. But pickleball also got that right.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, I guess I just think about that as far as like being able to join a club. And if you utilize those three things, I'll also add if you have an interest or at least just one interest, I feel like that's a diving board or a springboard to get these two of how do you use an interest to dive in.
Oh yeah.
And I think sometimes people struggle with their hesitation of being like, well, which interest do I choose? And what am I necessarily interested in?
True.
Yeah.
The interest decision fatigue.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Sure. So how do you help people navigate that?
It's a really good question. Um, I usually ask, if I'm being honest, the most common question that I ask is, what do you usually do on the weekends?
That's a good one.
Yeah. Give me your weekend timeline right now. Because I mean, I mostly work with high schoolers and college students, right? So somewhere in that, there's going to be some type of interest, right? Um, that's usually, I don't know.
Where are you already spending your time?
Yeah.
And that uh, when it comes to any sort of behavior change, I think making it super accessible and feeling like you can start with a mid to low effort.
Yeah.
So if it's already, oh, I spend my time, if it's watching TV, it's like, well, what are you watching? What are you interested in? What do
Yeah.
you like? What is already what has already piqued your interest? What documentary have you already seen that maybe you want to explore a little bit more into that? Whatever it might be,
Yeah.
that's kind of a bit of a trailhead into what maybe you can do that is more real world.
Yeah. And I'm also thinking about it now. I don't ask that super frequently because, as you know, I'm a big small talk type of guy. So I'll often like refer and plug in and try to access like certain small talks of being like, well, I know you told me 1 month ago that you did this on your Friday night, and I know that's an interest of yours. So let's go ahead and give that a whirl. I don't know if I asked that question maybe as much as I should, or maybe I should ask that a little bit more. But like I said, I use small talk to my advantage.
It's great.
But what do you do? Do you have any specific magic questions or anything like that to measure a person's interests?
Um, if someone's struggling with the decision fatigue of where to begin,
Yeah.
I'll either go with what is if it's something urgent. Let's say someone's looking for a new job, or if it's something that it feels like that there is a time
Yeah.
to it, that it's like okay, like we're just focusing on this one thing because
Yeah.
everything else can kind of be then to the wayside. And if someone is like, but everything's like kind of like pretty all right, and now I'm in a good position to
Yeah.
choose. It's like okay, well, what excites you when you think about
Yeah.
whatever this is, like what really excites you. So I like to go into the what feels exciting.
Yeah.
hmm
Interesting. Okay. Gotcha. So you don't refer to small talk?
Um, at times I will do a callback to like, hey, remember when you said that thing?
Yeah.
Maybe we start there. It really depends on the person.
Yeah.
So, because normally I think I mean, if I'm thinking client wise, some I have are passionate about a lot of things,
Yeah.
or it's like, can I make this hobby a career, or can I
Yeah.
do this, whatever it might be, and it's like, okay, well, what if it just stayed for some? I feel like I'm actually like kind of doing the opposite. I'm going like, what if this stayed leisure
Yeah.
until and like you just sat on it for 6 months before you made a decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if you decided not to make it like, oh, I can make it to the next level. I can keep going from there. It's like, what if it's just for fun?
Yeah.
Shits and giggles goes a long way.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I should start incorporating that into my pretzel buying.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Sweet.
What do you think? Do you think we've covered self-determination
I think
enough?
we've covered self-determination. Did
Yeah.
we cover behavior change? Did we solve how to change behaviors?
We might have.
We might have.
Yeah. I hope you start getting paid a lot more since we just discovered this problems.
Yeah. We're just gonna solve them all.
Yeah. Or I also hope that maybe you don't get paid as much, because then you're going to lose your intrinsic value.
Then, you know,
You're just going to leave us all in the dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Oh man. Any things that you're looking to change, or are you kind of like do you do intentions? I feel like therapists, we're like, we don't do resolutions. We do intentions. I feel
Yeah.
like that is sort of the ether of our
Yeah.
profession.
Yeah. I can actually name you all three of my resolutions from last year, and I can give you all of mine for this year.
Are they the
Unless you think
same?
unless you think that's really boring. One is kind of the same,
Okay,
but
cool.
I
Go
don't
for it.
have to do it if you don't want me to.
No, go for it.
All right. It's not super behavioral, but from
Okay.
last year, I want to order more appetizers and become less restrictive with my money.
Okay.
So when I go out to dinner, I want to order more appetizers. I wanted to wear my cowboy boots a little bit more often because I spent all my money. I spent a lot of money on cowboy boots, and I wanted to do that. And then number two, it wasn't measurable, but I wanted to become a more verbally and physically affectionate person.
Wow.
So for 2026, I'm going to give one person a genuine compliment once a day.
That's a
Yeah.
great one.
One
I like
genuine
that.
compliment once a day. Uh, my other one is I want to touch my toes with ease while standing up.
Okay.
Shout out, Mike.
Mike may have something to say about that. Yeah.
Yep. Touch my toes with ease. Um, I also had a third one, and I can't think of it right now. Let me think about it, but you can go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
this.
I know. Yeah. I know you were like, oh, like it only happens 23 days, but I take my New Year's resolutions pretty seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, I like them. They're very, was it SMART goals? They are smart.
Yeah. They are smart. Yeah. Yeah.
Specific, measurable,
Attainable,
repeatable.
realistic,
Oh, realistic. There we go.
and timely.
Glad you know, because that was tip three. Anyway. Um, so this year, well, okay, so there's been a few things. So one is like really focusing in on the podcast and getting it
Oh,
out
yeah.
on Thursdays and making sure that everything is timely. So that's the main goal right now.
Cool.
So pretty much everything is surrounding that.
Okay.
So it's podcast, making sure all the systems are in place, doing more on Instagram, the newsletter. Yeah.
Wow.
So there's a few things that, I mean, which kind of creating this whole ecosystem and making sure the systems that need to be in place are in place. So
Awesome.
that's this year. That's the project. The 2025, was that what we just went through? Okay.
Yep.
So 25, it was the year of starting this podcast.
Yeah.
So the goal was start it and get it out there and get it
Yeah.
out there, Steven get it out there once a week. And
Yeah.
I missed, I think, 4 weeks
Well, that's not
out
bad.
of the year.
Good for
So
you.
it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, all right, this year it's get it out there, see if you can not miss 4 weeks and maybe do bonus episodes and things like that. So it's
Okay.
like, it's kind of like you got a base, level it up, see what we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's all I can handle. So, another thing was kind of traveling, of course.
Oh,
So I'm
nice.
taking small trips.
To
Like,
Philadelphia?
yeah, hopefully other places. Seen Philly quite a bit. So, particularly the Philly suburbs quite a bit. Inside of my parents' and my sister's house quite a bit. Now that there are children up there, so but yeah, so making like a few smaller trips. So last year I hit the few places I wanted to go, and this year there's a few more places on that list.
Awesome. Out of the country?
Not this year, maybe next year.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, but this year I think we're gonna be mostly domestic.
So traveling and the pod.
Yes. Wow. That sounds real. That sounds like I am a 30-something female.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, I might as well put a pumpkin spice latte with that. Sweet. Well, Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
And that's the pod. So until next time, everyone, stay connected.
Yeah. We'll see you later.